Alright guys, so this is the Pharmacare section in our video series. So a lot of people in this province and country just aren't able to afford their medication, alright? And all these Ontarians, roughly 2.2 million of them, just don't have access to proper prescribed medication because it's too expensive, alright? Around 24% of Ontarians in households, and as well as people living with them in their households, just don't take their medication as prescribed simply because it's too expensive. And because of the expensive costs of medication, they tend to split their dosages. They also tend to not refill them when they need to or renew their prescriptions either. And because they don't do any of this stuff, they usually end up in emergency rooms or hospitalized for days, which can put a huge stressor on and burden on our healthcare services, considering they're very underfunded right now. All our hospitals are stretched to the limit, essentially. Luckily, they do have another aspect in their platform where they are going to help that situation. However, the prescribed medication burden also affects their overall health as well. So a lot of people are dying because they just can't afford their medication, right? Now, with this plan, however, they want to cover the cost of medication for all Ontarians for 125 essential medicines. And that will be added to a list, which will provide for everybody. And that way, everyone will have medication. Now, you're probably wondering, who is making this list? Well, that is going to be by the committee who evaluates drugs. So this committee that evaluates drugs helps and advises drug-related stuff for the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care. All right. So since they're advising that ministry, this committee is the best option to create this list of essential medicines. And then eventually we will start expanding that list to accommodate more medication. But this is the starting point, guys. We got to start with a certain amount. So this is our first amount of medicines for this list. Now, with that, you're probably wondering, well, how much is this going to cost? Well, this Pharmacare, universal Pharmacare system will be the first one in Ontario where you don't have to pay deductibles and premium, all right? So this will be a lot less expensive than what we've previously dealt with, all right? So luckily, it will be around $6.11 for the average Ontarian to pay for medication. All right, so that's how much it'll cost for average Canadians. And then for lower income workers, it'll be $2 per prescription. So a lot cheaper than what we've dealt with in the past, guys. This is what we want. We want cheaper medication, cheaper and, well, more accessible medication. All right. And now you're probably thinking, all right, well, that's how much it's going to cost, but what are we going to save with this new plan? All right. So the savings that we will deal with, it will be around $850 million of savings from private payers for medication, and as well as businesses and individuals. All right, so that is roughly around saving around $80 per employee for drug-related costs. All right, so to each employee, and you save $80 for each of them, and wow, that's pretty awesome. Now, the funding, obviously, where are we going to start this? Where is this funding going to come from? All right, so it'll be around roughly $475 million to get this off the ground. And like I said, with the dental one, it's around $100 million difference. And considering the billions that the government spends every year, this is literally nothing. All right, this is a very small percentage that will be used to fund this Pharmacare. Now, the three areas that we could get this funding from is as follows. All right, so the first area that we could get it from is opening new revenue sources. All right, hopefully, and the ones that we make will not affect businesses or individuals in the long run. So we don't want to hurt people by making these revenues exist. And then we might need to reallocate some, or reprioritize, I should say, some existing funds from our universal healthcare system and relocate it to the Pharmacare area to fund it. However, we will make sure that they will not be taking funds from pre-existing healthcare categories, because they know that all areas of our healthcare system is important, and they're not assholes. So that's what they're not going to do. They're going to make sure that wherever the money comes from, it's not going to hurt us in the long run. All right. Now, if those first two options aren't viable, they're going to create new revenue sources. All right. But they're going to, like I said, make sure that they don't harm individuals or businesses. Now, Pharmacare is, well, it's essential. Okay. We need medication, and we need affordable medication for everybody, because people shouldn't have to downgrade their quality of life simply because they can't afford their prescriptions. Right? Now that you know what they plan on doing for the primary care system, there will be a link that I will provide to allow you to go into more depth for this particular section, because it's a long thing and I was able to get all the juicy parts for this video. But you can definitely read more on it, and then you can get more knowledgeable about the subject. All right, guys, so that was the Pharmacare section. And now I want to discuss the dreaded Hydra 1.